Listen up. If you're tired of people walking all over you, talking down to you, and treating you like you don't matter, then it's time to wake up. Respect isn't handed out like candy, and if you're waiting for someone to just decide you deserve it, you're wasting your time. The truth is, respect is something you take, you command, and you enforce. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to handle people who don't respect you so they learn real quick that crossing you comes with consequences. Respect from others starts with one thing: self-respect. You can't expect anyone on this planet to take you seriously if you walk through life with low standards, weak boundaries, and no backbone. People treat you based on how you treat yourself. If you operate like you don't matter, that's exactly how they'll treat you. If you chase validation, apologize for existing, laugh at jokes you don't find funny just to fit in, or let others talk down to you without checking it, what you're doing is advertising that your dignity is for sale. You're telling the world that your time, your attention, your presence is cheap. And guess what? People believe you. Self-respect is not some abstract motivational slogan. It's a daily choice. It's how you talk to yourself when you wake up. It's the level of discipline you hold when no one's watching. It's how you dress, how you speak, how you carry yourself. It's whether you keep your word even when no one would know you broke it. You can't fake this. Real self-respect bleeds out of your posture, your tone, your eye contact. People can feel it. You walk into a room and don't have to say a word. They know you're someone who doesn't play games. And if they don't know, they'll learn real quick. You see, most people hand out respect like candy and get stepped on because of it. They're too afraid of being alone, too afraid of confrontation, too desperate for approval. So they allow nonsense. They let people talk to them however they want. They stick around in relationships, in friendships, in circles that drain them, insult them, use them. And then they complain about being disrespected. Let me tell you something. If you let that happen even once, you've set the standard. And once that line gets crossed, you've trained people to keep crossing it. Why wouldn't they? You didn't stop them the first time. You want to change how people treat you? Start raising your value in your own eyes. Start saying no without guilt. Start cutting off people who bring nothing but chaos. Start walking away from situations that don't serve you. Don't argue, don't explain, just walk. Nothing sends a stronger message than absence. Nothing teaches respect faster than silence. The less you tolerate, the higher you rise. And the higher you rise, the more people either adjust to meet your level or fall off because they can't handle it. You have to build a code of how you operate, a personal standard that says, this is who I am, this is what I accept, and anything less gets zero access. This is non-negotiable. And yes, some people won't like it. Some will call you arrogant, cold, full of yourself. Let them talk. They were never supposed to sit at your table. You don't need a crowd, you need clarity, you don't need attention. You need alignment with your own values. That's what self-respect is. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's silent power. It's a mindset that says, I will not beg to be seen, I will not chase to be liked, I will not bend to be accepted. Either rise to my level or step aside. Silence is one of the most underrated weapons you have in a world obsessed with noise. Everyone wants to talk. Everyone wants to explain, defend, argue, prove a point. But here's the truth. If you have to explain to someone why they should respect you, they've already decided not to. And the more you speak, the weaker you look. That might hurt your ego, but it's the reality. When you chase validation with words, when you try to convince someone of your worth, you're already beneath them in the conversation. That's not strength. That's desperation disguised as logic. Silence is different. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know if you're mad, if you're planning something, or if you just don't care. That confusion, that space between what they expect you to say and your refusal to play the game, that's power. That's control. Because when you're silent, they have to guess. They have to fill in the blanks. And guess what? Their imagination is often harsher than anything you would have said. They'll analyze, overthink, feel the weight of your absence 100 times more than your words ever could. You don't win arguments by being loud. You win by not showing up to the debate. You don't win respect by shouting for it. You win by staying unbothered, detached, and focused on your goals. If someone disrespects you, you don't react emotionally. You don't blow up, start swinging, or start preaching. You go quiet. You go ghost. That silence speaks louder than any clapback ever could. You don't have to justify your position to people who aren't even qualified to challenge it. People talk too much because they're afraid of being misunderstood. They think if they just explain themselves well enough, they'll be seen, accepted, appreciated. Let that go. If someone doesn't already understand who you are, what you're about, and the level you operate on, it's not your job to teach them, especially if they're coming with disrespect. You're not a public speaker for the ungrateful. You're not a motivational coach for the blind. You're a high-value individual who protects his energy by being selective with his words. Every time you react to disrespect with noise, you lower your value. You meet them on their level. And when you meet someone on their level, they win because they've pulled you out of your frame and into theirs. Stay in your frame. That's where your power is. You can't be dragged down if you don't move. You can't be baited into chaos if you never take the bait. Let people talk. Let them doubt. Let them disrespect in ignorance. While they're running their mouths, you're building. While they gossip, you grow. While they try to provoke, you stay unshaken. That contrast is brutal. That contrast humbles them without you ever saying a word. You don't need to win the argument. You need to win in life. You need to win in results. Because nothing silences critics like success. They can't ignore, control, or compete with. That's why silence is a weapon, not because it makes you invisible, but because it makes you unpredictable. Not because it hides weakness, but because it reveals strength. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you don't need to say anything at all. Disrespect is not something you tolerate, manage, or negotiate with. It's something you eliminate, immediately, completely, and without hesitation. The very moment someone shows you that they don't value you, your time, your boundaries, or your presence, you act. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after a long emotional conversation. You act the moment the line is crossed. Why? Because disrespect, once allowed, never stays small. It spreads. It escalates. It teaches people how far they can push you, how weak your standards are, how easily you can be walked on. And people are always watching, even the ones who haven't disrespected you yet. They're learning from how you react to the ones who have. When you allow disrespect once, you're saying it's negotiable. You're showing that your boundaries are just suggestions. You're signaling that your standards are up for debate. And believe this, people will test your limits, not because they hate you, but because they're wired to seek weakness. It's human nature. In business, relationships, friendships, it's all the same. Everyone is looking to see what they can get away with. You either have walls made of steel or you have doors with no locks. If you're the type who gives warnings, second chances, emotional speeches, or tries to fix people after they've spit in your face, then you've already lost. You're doing CPR on dead relationships. You're trying to fix what should have been deleted. Cutting someone off doesn't always mean screaming or making a scene. The most effective way to end disrespect is to go cold, go silent, and go forward. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them explanations. You don't need their permission to disappear from their life. You just stop answering. You stop engaging. You stop feeding their access to you. The strongest power move is to remove yourself from the table they were lucky to sit at. Once someone disrespects you, they've disqualified themselves from your energy, your loyalty, your presence. You don't need to convince them of what they lost. Let them feel the void. Let them sit with the silence where your value used to be. The reason most people never gain real respect is because they're afraid to walk alone. They tolerate disrespect because they fear being isolated. They accept poor treatment just to stay connected. That's weak. That's needy. And that's exactly why people keep disrespecting them. There's no consequence, no pressure, no cost. You want to be respected? Then become the type of person who walks away and never looks back. Make your absence a punishment. Make your silence a lesson. Make it known that disrespecting you means permanent exile. This isn't about ego, it's about standards. You don't cut people off to prove a point. You cut them off because you refuse to lower your value. You don't let anyone slide just because of how long you've known them, what they've done for you in the past, or what potential you thought they had. The second they show you who they are, you believe it, and then you act on it fast. No delay, no drama, no doubt. Because every moment you spend tolerating disrespect is a moment you're teaching the world that disrespect is acceptable, and once you do that, good luck trying to reverse it. When someone disrespects you, doubts you, mocks you, or tries to make you feel small, your first instinct might be to fire back, to prove them wrong with words, to argue your worth, to explain yourself. That's weak. That's emotional. That's exactly what they want. Because the moment you react like that, you've already given them control. You've lowered yourself to their level. You're playing their game. And you never win when you play by someone else's rules. The real move, the elite move, is to take that disrespect and turn it into fuel. You don't get even with words, you get even with results. You don't win by proving them wrong in conversation, you win by becoming someone they can't even reach. Success isn't just about money or status, it's about power. The power to walk into a room and know nobody there can shake your confidence. The power to live life on your terms while the people who once laughed at you can't even look you in the eye. When you elevate, when you rise, when you improve every area of your life, physically, mentally, financially, socially, you create a gap so wide that the people who once disrespected you start to look like insects beneath your feet. That's not arrogance. That's reality. Success makes you untouchable. It silences mouths that used to talk reckless. It humbles egos that thought they had the upper hand. Most people want revenge through confrontation. They want to call out their haters. They want to throw shade, send messages, post passive-aggressive nonsense online. That's amateur behavior. That's noise. The real killers move in silence. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They just do it. They don't threaten. They execute. You don't warn people you're about to level up. You level up, and when they see you again, they barely recognize the version of you that's standing in front of them. You don't owe them a response. You owe yourself greatness. The gym is revenge. The grind is revenge. The quiet nights where you build when no one's watching. Revenge. Every skill you master, every dollar you earn, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're stacking wins. And the more wins you stack, the more irrelevant their opinions become. People only try to bring you down when you're close enough to touch. Once you rise beyond their reach, the disrespect dies out. They stop talking not because they've changed, but because your level silences them. You don't even have to block them. Life blocks them for you. You'll notice something once you succeed. The same people who disrespected you will either pretend they never did, or they'll come crawling back, trying to reconnect, acting like they always believed in you. You don't even have to respond. Your life becomes the message. Your progress becomes the punishment. Your evolution becomes the reminder that they never should have underestimated you. And they'll have to live with the fact that while they wasted time talking, you were building. While they were laughing, you were working. While they were sleeping, you were grinding. And now they get to watch you win from the sidelines, knowing they had their chance and blew it. If you want to be respected, you have to become unshakable, emotionally solid, completely in control of your reactions no matter what's thrown at you. Weak people break under pressure. They get offended over words. They let small comments destroy their confidence. They explode in anger when disrespected. And every time they do, they hand their power over to someone else. If someone can push your buttons, they own you. If they can control your mood, they control your mind. And if they control your mind, they control your life. That's not strength, that's slavery to emotion. Real power comes from emotional discipline. The kind where no insult rattles you, no rejection breaks you, no betrayal surprises you. You don't flinch, you don't fold, you don't overreact, you calculate, you observe. You stay calm while everyone else is losing their heads. When someone disrespects you, you don't respond with rage or tears or emotional breakdowns. You don't start explaining yourself like some desperate child begging to be understood. You let the moment pass like wind hitting a wall, unmoved, cold, still. That's dominance. That's real control. People test you constantly, especially when they can sense your potential. They'll throw shade just to see if it hits. They'll poke at you to see if you bleed. Most of them don't even believe what they're saying. They just want to watch you lose composure. Because once you do, they win. You can have all the talent, all the money, all the ambition in the world, but if you're emotionally fragile, you'll break before you ever reach your peak. Success requires control, and control begins with your emotions. When you get triggered easily, people know they can manipulate you. They know they can distract you, make you doubt yourself, steer you away from your mission. That's how weak men are destroyed, not with weapons, but with words. And they fall for it every time because they never learn to master their reactions. They get baited into arguments. They let their pride run the show. They get caught up trying to prove something instead of staying focused on the bigger picture. And then they wonder why nothing in their life works. why people don't take them seriously, why they keep getting the same disrespect again and again. You've got to train your emotions like you train your body. That means resisting the urge to snap, to panic, to overthink. That means keeping your face still when people try to provoke you. That means speaking with clarity even when you're boiling inside. That means being dangerous but disciplined, controlled fury, calm under chaos, precision over panic. Because when you don't give people a reaction, you starve them of power. And when they realize they can't shake you, they start respecting you, even if they never say it out loud. Being emotionally unshakable doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't show weakness to people who haven't earned the right to see it. It means you don't reward disrespect with emotional access. You don't give your energy to anyone who hasn't earned it. You stay focused, composed, and locked in, regardless of what's happening around you, because once your emotions are in check, everything else falls in line. You become the one who can't be thrown off, the one they can't manipulate, the one they have no choice but to respect. Your environment dictates your energy. The people around you either sharpen you or soften you. If you're constantly surrounded by those who don't respect you, who mock your ambition, who laugh when you speak, who interrupt you, who ignore your presence, who take advantage of your kindness, you're slowly being drained. Not just mentally, but spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. And here's the truth most people don't want to accept. If they disrespect you and they're still around, it's not just their fault. It's yours. You allow what stays. You tolerate what you fear losing. And when you allow disrespect to live in your circle, you're telling the world you don't value yourself enough to clean house. You don't need a crowd. You don't need company. You need respect. You need alignment. You need to walk into a room where your presence is acknowledged without question, where your words are heard without being mocked, where your goals are supported, not ridiculed. That starts with auditing your circle and doing it ruthlessly. There's no room for dead weight, no space for fake friends who smile in your face and mock you behind your back. No tolerance for family members who hide their jealousy behind jokes. No patience for leeches who only show up when they need something. Respect isn't about titles, time, or bloodlines. It's about behavior. You've known someone for 10 years, so what? If they still treat you like you're beneath them, cut them off. You're related to someone, so what? If they undermine you every time you try to grow, distance yourself. Loyalty doesn't mean sticking with those who belittle you. Loyalty means protecting your standards, your time, your energy, and your vision. Because every time you sit at a table with people who don't respect you, you're lowering your own value just to feel accepted. And that's not loyalty. That's weakness dressed up as connection. Start paying attention to how people react when you speak with confidence. Do they look uncomfortable? Do they try to humble you? Do they throw subtle jabs disguised as humor? That's not love. That's resentment. That's insecurity. And if you ignore it, you're setting yourself up to stay small forever. Because you can't grow in an environment that punishes strength. You can't rise in a space that worships mediocrity. You need to be surrounded by killers. People who push you, respect your grind, challenge your limits, and never feel threatened by your success. If someone doesn't respect you now, they're not going to start later. They might act right for a while, but disrespect always finds its way back to the surface. You don't fix that with words. You don't sit around begging people to value you. You fix that by walking out, by choosing solitude over fake company, by standing so tall in your standards that only the right people are able to stand beside you. And yes, it'll get quiet. Yes, you'll lose people. Yes, they'll talk behind your back. Let them. Let them say you changed. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed to level up to the point where the old circle can't breathe the air you breathe anymore. Your life is a reflection of your circle. You can be a lion, but if you surround yourself with sheep, you'll start moving like one. You'll start thinking small, talking soft, and lowering your roar just to keep the peace. And eventually, you'll forget you were ever dangerous in the first place. Respect is never given, it's earned. And most importantly, it starts with how you treat yourself. If you want people to value you, you have to value yourself first. You don't beg for respect, you demand it through your actions, your silence, your boundaries, and your success. You cut out toxicity without hesitation. Keep your emotions locked down like a fortress and build a circle that lifts you higher instead of pulling you down. And you live. Remember, respect is a reflection of your strength. Show the world you're unbreakable, unstoppable, and unapologetically in control, and they will have no choice but to respect you.